Starting soon on BMTV, ni program izambo itenwati tizive.
Kuna usagi ngalibona ko drainage, kalibona ko development yochokerera kuti since ungaone development chachitika chaso tachiona chaonekera.
Nasinimafuna kuti vantu vakazibwera apa vakazikopera ku mafoto. Ndifuna chepanga liso check clean ndakoza akambobora kopera ku mafoto vantu. Wamasiya poche madoti maningi. So
majanki ndafya bazambo shitrapo mapupuzi.
Majanki mwenzo menyerewa songa pite lokotuntwana wazatunda mkarojika mkati umenye.
Come to our aid such that those junkies and the other people who are committing crimes, we are being safeguarded from that. So it's very cardinal and people are happy.
Loko chama njebanje napeleka kamuzukuru kanga kanadwala kwenda ofika kuja bapasa aya matreni kuti ungakwanise kumfaka kanira muntu akalibeno punzira bwino.
Zive ni program izambo bwera pa BMTV yani izambo kupasani opportunity kapena kukamba kuma problems yanishika ku constituency yanu kapena development yanishika ku constituency yanu then ngati kuli chintu chinangu chinashika mkati mwa weekend simu na zive i program izambo bwera because i program ni tizive. So tizive coming soon on BMTV channel 114. Remember ni tizive.
In a nation searching for answers, every household has a story, and every story is shaped by the politics of our time. Your struggles, your hopes, your future. We bring you the voices of the people and the leaders who must respond. Because a stronger democracy starts with informed citizens. This is where Zambia comes together to talk, to question, and to push for better. Your voice, your power, your Zambia. The Political Square. Only on BMTV. Zambia's light, Zambia's voice.
Good evening and welcome to the People's Square right here on BMTV channel 114 on Top Star. My name is Temwani Nkata and welcome to another edition of a platform where we engage with stakeholders in society to basically talk about what is happening in our country. Today we are joined by Ngande Mwanajiti, a prominent Zambian human rights defender and governance expert, whose name is closely associated with Zambia's democratic and human rights movement. Mr. Mwanajiti served as executive director at the Inter-African Network for Human Rights and Development, AFRINET, if you like, during the 1990s as well as the early 2000s, a period when the organization became one of Zambia's influential voices on governance, civic liberties, policy, police conduct rather, and the state accountability. He was also among the prominent voices who opposed President Frederick Chiluba's attempt to seek a third term, placing him at the center of one of Zambia's major constitutional democratic debates. Mr. Mwanajiti later served as editor of the Independent Monitor newspaper, continuing his advocacy through journalism and public discourse. His work through AFRINET and the Monitor included challenging state overreach, raising concerns over police conduct and brutality, defending freedom of expression and advocating for stronger democratic institutions. And today, decades later, we bring that experience to a very current question. When constitutional rights, national security, and access to justice appear to intersect, where should the line be drawn? That's the conversation this evening. Please do feel free to join us on WhatsApp. You can also call in if you have questions, 0573 955 330. I will be posing questions to Mr. Mwanajiti as you text in, so you could start structuring those questions now. And yes, also feel free to just contribute and give your sentiments on today's discussion. Again, when constitutional rights, national security, and access to justice appear to intersect, where should the line be drawn? That is our discussion this evening. But Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Welcome to BMTV, Mr. Mwanajiti.
Thank you so very much. I'm glad I'm here.
It's a great pleasure to
nice
have
studio.
you.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Let's begin. The Electoral Commission suspended counting in some areas where there were security concerns. From an electoral management perspective, what circumstances would justify such a decision? And how should the Commission deal with constituencies where no such security concerns existed? I'll just take you back to last week when we had the elections.
Right. I think the quick answer to your question is, what was the ECZ responding to? And the ECZ said that there were certain challenges, and you know that there are some incidents involving monitors who were hit, as it were. And then there were other broader, bigger issues which came through.
Yes.
And I hope you can be fair enough to open the discussion. And let's discuss issues in a very honest and frank manner.
Indeed.
Because we are here primarily because we must deal with the issues.
Yes.
And those issues must be dealt with in a manner which is, holistic.
Yes.
And a manner which defines the rights debate. Lots of times people talk about rights from some kind of unfortunate stand. My right as Ngande ends where your right begins.
Yes.
It's very important to understand that. And secondly, let our viewers also understand that every right, no matter how defined, carries with it a duty and responsibility. In other words, let me give a simple example. I'm not here by accident.
Yes.
I'm here because you invited me to come through. My invitation ends with when this program ends.
Okay.
Thereafter, I cannot insist that I want to stay here because that's not part of the package.
Right.
So as we discuss this thing, let's also take into account the importance of removing any emotional trappings around the subject matters. And that is what guides the courts. The fact that, for instance, you drink or you socialize with the judge or magistrate does not assure you that you will fail to read the law, because the law basically is very objective. So for me, I think if we take it from that angle, we have a beautiful country to look forward to.
All right.
Yeah.
So we also saw the deployment of defense forces during a particularly sensitive period of the electoral process. From your experience in governance and human rights, what is the constitutional role of the military in such circumstances, and what safeguards should accompany that deployment?
Right. Now, there must be a context. The context which broadly speaks to the military, for instance, or any law enforcement agencies, is that firstly, you must accept that the government never goes to sleep anywhere in the world.
Right.
No government goes to sleep, except, for instance, some mature democracies. You will see that the people surrounding the president are not wearing uniform.
Okay.
Okay, they are not uniformed. So you may think they're just ordinary individuals, yet they are not. I think we need to get to that point. We must, for instance, get to a point where we understand what led the armed forces or whosoever to be so active, to be on alert. You can only be on alert anywhere in the world if there is reason to be alert.
Right.
So we go down to the issues, what led to that. And this is where you play a very key role as a media. I am happy to have been part of a team which wrote a book on journalists as human rights defenders. Because before things go in the public, you break them.
Yes.
In other ways, you are exposed to hazardous situations. But we deal with those things. I'm not aware, there are a few cases of a journalist deciding to play party politics. That becomes a challenge. So I was involved in some situation where we told our friends that, look, guys, I think some of you are getting too close. Okay, so the best that you can do is to step down so that you can do those things full time with those guys. And we remain on the middle. So part of the problem has been the aspect of misinformation. Okay, we cannot run away from that. It's been a real issue. And I will tell you from a rights point of view, one of the things that we always deal with, or I used to deal with when I was so active, is what is the source of the information? The short end of the answer is that you cannot drink tea or coffee from a poisoned kettle. You die. So if a source, and even the courts are warned everywhere in the world, in the common law system, that do not convict on the basis of accomplice evidence. And the courts don't. And the classical case in Zambia here was one involving, I think it was a Mr. Chungu.
Yes.
Yeah. He came up with good information, but the courts couldn't use it. They said, we have taken note of PW, means prosecuting witness, it's evidence. They have just taken note. They can't do anything with it because it's contaminated. Yeah.
Okay. The authorities further explained that the deployment in terms of maintaining security and protecting public order. How should citizens then distinguish between a legitimate security intervention and a measure that could potentially have an effect on democratic
powerful
participation?
Question. Why is it powerful? We must never give authorities a reason to shortcut individual liberties. Because all the time, there will be people who are mischievous, who might want to push their own personal agenda. So that said, I am a firm believer that one of the things which has happened in this modern era is what we call citizen journalism. Citizens now are able to communicate however they want to do so. Whereas in some days, you are the situation where you have an editor. And the role of an editor is to check the truth of the particular matter. The media, it is fair to say the media is no longer educating people. They're just informing and entertaining people. So who will educate them? For instance, we must know what is the role of the military in any society. The role of the military in any society is to maintain peace. I don't want to go in certain details. I'll give an example which is close to everybody.
Okay.
It affected me. It affected you. The president declared by Chiruba. The Zambian national team was shot at in Gabon. It crashed. I will not go beyond that. So, but the point is that if we can also move from Africa, look at that plane which crashed somewhere in the Soviet Union, Russia. It was brought down because clearly there were some issues around it. So the issues of security must be dealt with in a particular manner. We must not add lies or falsehoods in any particular situation because you are opening the door for wrong things to come in, for the state to justify wrongdoing. Okay? And that becomes an injury to people's rights. So you go back to the question, why mobilize army? Why should they be on red alert? What is the context? And the context is very simple. Tell me, we need to be factual about these things. You cannot, as a normal person, as a civilized person, as a leader, call for the blood of the president. How? And you want sympathy? It can't happen. Because first you are committing a crime. And you cannot go to court to enforce a crime. You cannot. And no court, they will not see you. So we are putting the courts in a very awkward situation. And I'm not apportioning blame. I'm saying the reality is that we are being unfair to people who must decide. Because we've tainted the situation. You can, my brother, if you are accused, it's in your best interest to stand trial. Why? During the trial, you are able to disprove, to argue your case, make your case, let them see the other side. And many people have walked to freedom. But you do society a disservice when you commit a crime and run away. You do a severe crisis in the country. So that when you are saying what you are saying and mobilizing people, okay, to do harm. Look, an example is today you called me, okay? I didn't have to say, but who is calling me? Why is he calling me? Then Angel came through. I worked with Angel before. And I said, okay, fine. I mean, these are media guys. For me, my take is that I am not interested in somebody who says, no, these are government guys, these are independent guys. There's nothing like that. You are journalists, you are professionals.
Yes.
So I came through and I'm happy with what I've seen, what I'm seeing. I came through and I'm happy. I came through. At the end of the day, however you look at it, we have one country called Zambia.
Yes.
Where we must coexist. We must coexist. And I'm happy. The guy who brought me, he said that these guys work very hard. That's what you must do. You must earn a living properly. And part of the challenges which you face, there is nobody who is going to bankroll you for insulting another person. There must be a reason. Why are they doing that?
Yeah.
So for me, one of the things which again affects each and every person is that when Zambia as a country is negatively covered in the media, do you know what we are doing? We are communicating to banks abroad, okay? Who will say what's happening in Zambia, check the media, they come up with the download of what is happening in Zambia. Now, if there are falsehoods, we are in trouble as a country. So it's actually in the best interest of the people to deal with each other on one-to-one, not to talk to each other. Talk to each other, understand each other, come to a common point, and agree that, look, in 2026, 13th August, we have an election.
Yes.
Now, here is something which people are not willing to take responsibility, but they must. Elections have three distinct components. They are administrative, they are political, and they are technical. So anybody participating must be competent in those three things. It is an embarrassment for a political party to go and, you call it fielding, you want to file on the papers, okay? Then they tell you, no, don't qualify. How? Because as a political party, you must have a checklist. These are our candidates. These are their qualifications. They are good to go. You go and file it. So it means the administrative part of the party, for that particular party, is dead. And counting on the elections body to either admit them or not to admit them. Then we had the people saying, if this person successfully files, we are home and dry. Home and dry way. What are they talking about? So at the end of the day, I am pushing the line of civility.
Okay.
If you are going to run this station as you are doing, run it according to the rules of running a TV station. You and me, I'm sure you do watch football. I watch soccer lots of times.
I do.
There are rules to the game. Zambia, in the last engagement, WAFCON, I think we were unfairly eliminated. I think so.
But like you said, there are rules to the game.
Yes. But there are rules to the game. So the Zambian team, okay, fine, next time. That's what we must learn as a people.
Okay.
We must learn to accept that sometimes things happen. Like this program, it can't go on indefinite. Soon you will say, thank you very much for coming. I can't insist, no, but I also want to talk. Then you're a problem.
But there are rules to the show.
Yes,
I'm
trying to be as simplistic as possible.
Yes, don't understand.
This is a show which you run, there is a slot. But I can't insist that, no, my brother, I want to continue talking. Then there is a problem.
Yeah.
So my take is that we need to prepare ourselves to manage this country.
Okay.
And when we prepared ourselves to manage the country, for it will be you and me who says, okay, are you sure that person can do this and that? Then you say, no, they can't. Okay? So what I am seeing, and again, from a rights point of view, remember one of the key things about human rights is development. In development, there is what we call the dynamic triangle. The dynamic triangle is human rights, democracy, and development. The three, it forms the dynamic triangle, which is what you talked about, the monitor. That's what we are pushing in the monitors. You must push a developmental thrust coupled with democracy and ensure that human rights are respected. A key aspect of that is that whatever you deal with must be factual. Because the worst that can happen for anybody, any manager anywhere, is to make a decision based on wrong information. And that is why, as a human rights person and human rights movement broadly, we do not support death sentence or death penalty.
Yep.
Because there is evidence that people who have been convicted to death, evidence is surfaced up to show that they are not involved in that particular crime. Now, when you kill somebody, you can't bring them back. You've killed them. So you would rather keep them, okay? And I'm happy Zambia is part of that mango now. It's a civilized lot of a people. You know, if evidence comes up, you are able to say, look, the state made a mistake. I was part of some initiative. We wrote a document. We said, when the state kills, okay, talking about death penalty. Okay? So my personal view is that we need to do what we are doing now. Let's talk to each other. Let's get to the middle. What are the issues? You can't say, I'm willing to kill and I'm willing to be killed. What kind of person are you? Because remember, the human rights debate is anchored on being reasonable. You must be reasonable. Now, if you look at paragraph 3 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the preamble, paragraph 3, it talks about be careful the way we deal with the people. Because if you push somebody too hard and too far, they will react. Okay? They will react. And some of the things which we are witnessing could be part and parcel of that. So I may have a strong view on something, but I must be reasonable about it. I must say, my brother, Bankata, hear me out, please. This is my plea. Oh, is that so? You are reasonable. You will say, okay, today I'm busy, come tomorrow. That's how it goes. But I can't insist on anything in having my way. No politician, even the president, can insist that I'll have my way throughout. No, he's running a country of 21 million people. In other words, there are 21 million egos in Zambia. Each ego must be dealt with. You can't have it all your way on. So it's got to be a balancing act, and that's the challenge which we face now. How do we ensure that the balancing act is not rocked so much to the point where the necessary ingredients are spilling out? So my view is that we have a country to run, and that country must be defined by you and me. What do we want?
All right, 0573-955-330. That's the number you can use to get in touch with us. Do call us and give your question or contribution, all right, to those that are live on Facebook as BMTV Zambia. And of course, we are also live on our YouTube channel, BMTV Zambia as well. Subscribe and follow as we continue with the program. You're open to actually call in, so you can ask your questions or contributions this evening. Otherwise, coming to today's closure of the courts, it's had a lot of conversation.
Right.
So much has been said. The state reason has been, national security. At the same time, the closure coincides with a period within a presidential election petition, which was supposedly supposed to be filed. From a constitutional perspective, how should we understand this situation, given also there was a time frame of 7 days from when the president-elect was declared?
When I first got this issue, I was on the road. I said, wait a minute. So I checked, and I said, okay, let me first see, what we call fact-finding.
Yes.
So I used the route which would drive me through the courts.
Okay.
And I saw that tape, it's been closed. And my immediate reaction was that there should be a very good reason for that. Because if there's no good reason, then there's a big challenge for this country.
Yes.
So I'm one like you praying that there is a good reason for that. Because that should not happen. It can only happen if there is an absolutely good reason. And the challenge in just debating the issue is simply that we don't know why that happened. So from a constitutional point of view, the question is an alternative been given to say, okay, if you can't file in this manner, you can file in this different manner. So the question would be, was there an indication on the part of the people filing? So we want to file. Now, let me say something very clear. The media is there to inform people. The media is not part of any decision making, as it were. I've seen a trend where when people can't do certain things, they go to the media. And I remember, I think it was at Movie TV, or one of the TV stations.
Right.
And they said, this is some MMD cadres. I said, but how do you know the MMD cadres? So they're wearing MMD t-shirts. I said, wait a minute. You and me live in Zambia. We know how people have impersonated the police to engage in robbery. So I will be careful to push the narrative as is MMD cadres. Because, and the example I have is a classical one. When Basata was being sworn in, before he was sworn in, Arabi was president. I went to Intercity, the whole place was all blue. The following day, Michael Sata won an election, he was going to be sworn in. The whole place was all green, same people. So I said, wait, I think we need, and we checked, we found that people keep managing those t-shirts, depending on the occasion.
Okay.
So if the occasion is this person coming with these colors, they wear these colors. So I am reluctant to talk about support for this or that person because it's fluid.
Right.
It's very fluid.
I think the question is not really about support.
Yeah.
My question was really the timing. I know it seems, just a little off the fact that it's coincidentally falling
and
on a day that could have been.
I actually answered your question.
Yeah.
I said, if I were in that position, I go to file, I find the places, my immediate reaction would not to grant the media.
Okay.
My immediate reaction would be say,
what are my other options?
Justice. Yes. Because remember, a good lawyer, okay, their job is to follow your client. Okay?
Okay.
I will look for various options. What are the options? Because you must file.
Yes.
Okay? You must file. You look for the options, and if the options cannot be found, the question then is, what does this do to Zambia's democracy? Assuming that there is no good explanation. But if there's a good explanation, the question then could be, how do we accommodate a particular dimension? I will say, for me, my challenge in looking at things is that we are accepting to do things which we cannot do. Because yes, there is a crisis emanating from common sense. You go and file, the registry is open, that kind of thing. But you may find yourself in a situation where it's not open. So what are your options?
What does the Constitution say in a case such as this one? This is a very unique situation.
First, there's the constitutional guarantee that when you find yourself in a situation where you are not happy about anything,
yes,
you can go to court. And in this case, 7-day period is given, okay, for the whoever is not happy to petition, okay. And I'm still hoping that has happened because it is possible.
Okay.
Depending on who is at play, who is pushing whatever. And I will tell you one of the things which we do is that there was a matter whose names I won't go into details. And my friends called me and said, who is handling the matter? I mentioned the name. I said, can't you get a much more senior person to do it? But of course, it couldn't work.
Okay.
Because the person said they want to do it. So at the end of the day, all I'm simply saying to you is you've asked the question, but the question is not dealing with the fundamental issue. The issue is, what do we want for as Zambians? That is the critical issue. What do we want? How do we want to govern ourselves? For instance, the Chinese are very clear in terms of the way they run their democracy. Okay, it is something which they have agreed by themselves. Now, you cannot go as we have done. You go to England, okay, transplant the common law system, bring it into Zambia, no debate. What are we doing to ourselves? So we have this issue which has come. The courts were closed. I will be speculating, anybody else will be speculating as to why they were closed. But the government said, okay, I hear, because I wasn't written to by anybody, that they cited security concerns.
Okay.
That becomes a tough order. That becomes a tough order because they are saying there are security concerns. Now, what are those concerns? Okay, one of the videos I listened to, they say that I heard, to the effect that when the trial begins, okay, the state will adduce evidence in open court. But again, you go back to the character of the law. What does the law? What is the law supposed to do in any particular situation? For instance, one of the most popular examples given is that what kind of matter can we take to court to ask the courts to adjudicate? Can you take any matter that you think that is an issue? There are rules to it. But again, you come back to the same question. They wanted to file. There is a serious coincidence, like it or not. 7 days is up, today or tomorrow. Is it today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Okay? And the guys can't file. So I don't have the information as to what they did. Maybe you do. As what they did to ensure they file. And I have no idea which lawyer they were using to do that. Not that I should know. I don't have to know. But the point is that that's their right. That is their right. You can't take it away. But again, we are assuming they wanted to file. If I pushed you to produce evidence of them filing, you won't have that evidence. That's been part of our problem. And one of the things I remember telling somebody, I said, look, I will help you as a human rights person, but I don't like what you are doing on X, Y, Z because you are guilty of ABCD. But let's move. I wanted you to know that. Okay? That's the rules. That's also some of the rules of engagement. So you cannot be allowed to continue messing people up. Doing something. So,
okay, away from the petition. I mean, obviously, it was something that we had to talk about because of the timing, like we said, coincidence. But let's look at just several other cases that could have been scheduled to take place in the courts today. Would you say the important question is simply not whether courts can be closed for security reasons, but whether reasonable steps were taken to preserve access to justice in general?
And I think that's a cardinal question. Were reasonable steps taken by authorities? Look, we are closed, but you can do X, Y, Z. And for instance, let's take an example, of service. Sometimes people become very difficult. You want to save them with court documents. They are inaccessible. You can't find them. So you can go to court, make an application to save them through the papers. That option is there. You go, I can't find this person, they keep moving, or whatever it is. The courts will give you permission to go and file. Just like the post can also give you permission to file out of time, depending on the phrasing of the particular, the particular provision in the law. So at the end of the day, the issue is that there is an issue.
Yes.
If there is an issue, we must now look at what are the possible solutions. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be seized with an issue which is academic in nature. Or you don't want to be seized with an issue which carries with it more problems. I'll give an example. Let's assume that a person called A, they have an issue, okay? And in that issue, there happen to be a problem somewhere. For instance, they are on the wanted list elsewhere, okay? It will be challenging for the authorities to give that person a hearing because we are now using that process to sanitize problems. Or if somebody is an accused terrorist, I'm sure you all know that one time there was Osama bin Laden on this earth. And I'm sure by now you know what happened to him.
Yes.
Because the international communities agreed that, like hate propaganda, is a serious offense. And when people talk about no, this and cyber, I look at it, but ignorance is very bad. Because look, I have lived in some of the most civilized societies of this world. In Switzerland, where I lived, people, they basically have referenda every Thursday on topical issues. You won't even know about it. People just, okay, let me have my coffee and then go and drop my vote. So it just happens. And I'm trying that we must get to a point. For instance, I've said, my brother, election management, the nearest to get to any gadget, is basically stationary. You have no need whatsoever, and however said, to carry an arm to go and vote. Do you? You don't. Why should you say that? Why should you say at my home I have guns for protection? As an example, then it means, in my view, you are a wrong guy, because you present challenges to the country. You get it, eh?
I get it, but
my worry is that the issues we know, and we keep going around circles. We should not do that. We should address the issue, deal with it, and be happy with it. I insist you cannot run elections with, groups of gangs, so to say, of people who are armed. You cannot do that, because that's how civil wars begin. And I would be happy and face whoever wants to defend that squarely, because it's not correct. If you want to do that, go do it somewhere else, because that's your right. Remember, my right ends where your right begins. I can't come here and say, guys, I'm very hungry, I want to cook at that corner. You will say, but you can't do that. So a right goes with the corresponding duties and responsibilities. And I'm insisting we must not run away from dealing with the real issues which affect these decisions. Because it is the failure to look at each other in the face squarely that's leading to these challenges. What kind of candidate are you putting? For instance, let's take this topical debate. Of course, people have got views. People will say, look, it's my right to stand as an independent. Yes, it's your right. But don't forget that other people have got rights as well. It's very simple. Your right ends where other people's rights begin. So standing as an independent is a good thing to you, but it's an act of indiscipline. It's as simple as that. Because nobody forced you to join that party. You joined the party, you were campaigning, they didn't adopt you. Look, again, that's a detail. We don't know what happened. We don't know why they didn't adopt you. But you can't say, therefore, I'll go it by myself. Okay? Yes, we can do that. But there are consequences to every action. Everything you do has got consequences.
All right. Sagulani Mwenda, 2639 from YouTube has, well, I don't know whether this is a statement or a question, but he just says, I've withdrawn the trust I had for you. Your integrity is very low. And Mr. Mwanajiti, you've always been a pretender. All you've done or been doing was out of your belly ever since. Interesting sentiments. Thank you for that. Also, somebody on Facebook says, what are you saying? Namkotamdala. Zambians want change. We don't want dictatorship in our country. Interesting. So, yeah, I mean, you've spent years defending civic liberties.
Absolutely, I'm passionate about it.
And holding governments accountable.
Even those people who insult me, I will defend them.
Yes.
I will defend their right to speak, but I'll ask them to be responsible.
Yes.
Simple. You say anything, but be responsible.
So
they can call you and get my number and call me, we talk.
Yeah,
because we must talk.
In a situation where authorities provide security justification for a decision that nevertheless raises constitutional questions, such as this one, what is the responsible role of a civil society? To challenge the decision, to seek clarity, or both?
Both. Okay. You must challenge the decision, you must seek clarity, seek an explanation, then educate the people. This is what we have found. This is what is causing these issues. We must also move on to understand what is this animal called civil military relationships. Okay? Like here, typical example is the comment which you read. Okay?
Yes.
That is his view which we must respect. Okay?
Indeed.
But you must understand that his rights as a person end where my rights begin. You get it, eh? Yes. So if the intention is harmony, okay? If the intention is harmony, we must be measured in the way we communicate. For instance, I will tell you, I cannot come here on this forum and begin articulating hard positions against certain individuals. I cannot do that because then I'm abusing this facility, this opportunity.
Yes.
I will find a way in my private arrangement to talk about certain things. And let it be known that some of the people are talking to, I know them at a personal level. And maybe some of the people are talking, they will even never meet them. But these are people I know, close range, people I discuss with. These are people I say, look, I don't agree with you on this, and they take it. I agree with you on this kind of thing, they take it. I said to some people in Livingston some time back, they were talking about the need for youth power. I said, youthdom is a stage in life. Okay? Youthdom is a stage in life. There will come a point when you were youth. I remember one of the people, one of the readers, he said on a TV discussion that here, I'm the only person born in Zambia. Everybody was born in Northern Rhodesia. And I said, but that's a tragic statement. And it came to pass. It was a tragic statement. So you must have room to accommodate each other. And that's the essence of the human rights. You must be reasonable.
Yes.
It's as simple as that. Whether you go to wherever, you must act in a responsible, reasonable manner. You are not going to succeed in whatever you want to do if you are indisciplined. It's an impossibility to say, okay, I want to stand as an independent. Let's assume that you were with, say, the governing party. Okay? You broke rank. Okay? You don't win your election. At what point would you seek for an office in that same organization? You will, of course, yes, you're right. But there will be challenges. So all I'm simply saying that, like, we are here, we're talking to each other, we're depending on ZESCO, right? If a sudden lights go off, it will be dark. But if I am patient enough to stand in for about 2-5 minutes, my eyes will adapt. You will be able to see me move like this. But if I just move, I will hit myself somewhere. So the point being made is that in whatever we do, however we do it, we must, as we exercise our rights, know that there are duties, responsibilities, and there are obligations.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, you and me, it's not them and us. We are seized with a common problem. It's a common problem. People, for instance, will talk about PF very negatively. But I would say the PF problem is a Zambian problem. It is a Zambian problem. Whether it's, we have no choice but to deal with it. But there is a way that we deal with these civil issues in a civil manner. Trust me, you are not going to carry arms, and I'm not suggesting anybody's carrying arms. I'm giving an example.
Yes.
You are not going to play football, okay, wearing a kimono. A kimono is what you wear when you are doing karate. Okay? It won't work.
True.
Okay? You must, follow what the rules of the game want. Remember Cameroon, I think they were penalized for wearing interesting attire. Yes. With the featured somewhere, yes, but they were penalized.
The best jersey.
Yes. They were penalized for that. So I'm saying every situation we do, there's got the rules. Elections, my brother, have rules. I'm very happy that I played a key role in developing the code of conduct for voting in Zambia. The way it is.
Okay.
I'm very proud about that. I made a definite contribution, which people can see and look at. Okay? So at the end of the day,
I have more questions for you,
Yes,
but I think
please.
it's also important for our viewers to engage. We do have another text message from WhatsApp message, rather, from Kasonde in Solwezi. He says, opposition candidate Brian Munduwile had publicly indicated he intended to petition. In practical terms, what options remain for anyone seeking to challenge the results when the registry is closed and premises sealed?
thank you. That's a brilliant question. I remember I said to you, what lawyer have you got
Yes.
to help your case? Here, Brian has indicated that he wants to petition the case. Personally, I would have advised him, if I had access to him, my brother, you need to come and file this. Come out of hiding if he's hiding. Why am I saying that? If you decide to take on certain things, you must have the courage to do it. You should not incite people to rise if you cannot do it. So my beginning point, for instance, on topical issue, I said, if you are, there was this issue about, no, you're not defending gays and lesbians. I said, no, if you declare, if you are one, okay, I will defend you. But I will not defend somebody who is not one. Come in the open and say, this is what you are. But one guy did something very strange. He decided to basically challenge the law. And you know the consequences. He found himself in gallows. So for me, I would say, one, he must come out and say, look, I want to do A, B, C, D. And then two, the lawyer should look for options. Yes, options. What options exist? Okay? They must do that because that is why they are there. They must look for options. So the first thing, he must come out wherever he is and say, look, this. Other people will say, no, he's afraid of whatever. Of what? What would you be afraid of? Because, look, if one person gave his life, okay, why would he stay away? So again, I don't know whether he's in hiding. I have no knowledge of it. I last saw him at some wedding somewhere. He's a good guy. That's I last saw him. Beyond that, I don't know what he's doing, who is advising him. Very important, in whatever you do, get good advice. Insults don't equal to production or anything. So I like the question from Thorwezi, from Mr. Kasonde. That's the way to go. You must crack your mind. It's okay, fine. We went to file, say you went at 9 hours, and you find this is the situation. Look for options. What are the options? The options will be there. Look for the options. But you have a choice also to say, okay, fine, let me just go to the media, let me insult. All the choices, yo. But remember, as I said, every right has a corresponding duty and responsibility. So at the end of the day, we are where we are because we want to be where we are. That's been my very honest argument. Some people will say whatever they want to say, but the truth and reality is that we have a country which must be managed. This country won't run itself. It's as simple as that. The country will not run itself. It must be run. And to do that, you must be capable. You must be qualified to do it. It's as simple as that. You can, of course, take and say, okay, fine, even these guys who are guarding you here, they can do it. Are you sure they can do it? They can't. It may be a painful reality, but that's the reality. Okay? If, for instance, somebody has not been fortunate enough to go to school properly, they have gone at the most at grade 4. Okay? Yes, they're human beings. Society has a duty to reform them. Okay? Get the best from them so they can contribute meaningfully to Zambia. But for certain functions, trust me, I will not go out there, go in, get another person to be an editor here. It can't work. You must get somebody with a profile, somebody who can do the job. And I think that's what we must do for ourselves as a people. We must know what do we want, how do we want to get it. Not just say, I want to do A, B, C, D. That is what causes problems. We must get to a point where say, I'm going to run for office. I've prepared myself in this manner. These are my arsenals of engagement. You cannot go and say, like one gentleman now is late. They asked him, so what do you want to do for education in Zambia?
Yeah.
Education, I think I will support Zambians for education. How can that be an answer? I remember also a serving vice president in 1998. He said it is impossible to give free education in Zambia. That's what he said. I said to him, look, the fact that I'm unable to be as articulate as you are does not mean that things cannot be articulated. I am unable. So if you are unable, leave way for somebody who is able to do it. But those are the hard questions because we are culturing ourselves in this manner. Whoever must take it must be my friend. It doesn't work like that. No, it doesn't. You have to do things in such a way that when you zoom at Zambia. Okay? Zambia, whether you like it or not, is going to go 10 jurisdictions. Right? That's the reality of Zambia.
All right, before we move to the next question, just some feedback from our viewers. Simon Banda on Facebook says, evening, I think it would be prudent for the security wing to be more specific when they say security reasons before acting in the way they did, because if they did it in good faith, they can't convince the nation at the moment, especially for those who are in opposition. Yeah.
And that for me speaks to civic responsibility. He is saying, basically, look, if you have your reasons, come clean. That's what he's saying. And he's right. But he's right to a certain extent, because there are certain times, look, the matter will go to court. Whether people like it or not, this matter will go to court. And in court, I hope I will be in Lusaka. If I'm in Lusaka, I will certainly go to hear for myself. So I can comment intelligently. Okay? It's a public interest matter. We must follow it with keen interest.
All right. I'll take you back now. Having led Afronet in challenging different administrations over police conduct, civic liberties, as well as state accountability, what standards should we apply consistently to every government, regardless of which political party is in power?
The basic standard, which is absent currently, but it could be there, I have not seen it. We must document events.
Okay.
We document events as reference points, not cooked documents. And an example of something cooked was when the UN rapporteur came to come and look at the freedom of expression. People were screaming that the UN has sent a rapporteur. But you know the rules of engagement. The UN can never do that. The government invites, okay? And they must facilitate it by ensuring that the person does their work. They see whoever they want to see, however they want to do it. And then they will write a report when they go back. So we are not dealing with the aspect of misinformation and falsehoods, which have basically changed the way we look at some things. Some people will even say, we understand this has happened, when it's far from the truth. So there again, you can't blame the people.
Yes.
No. I think what we must blame, if not in a manner which is measured, I think that we have not gone to town to explain about certain things in a rudimentary manner. And I'll take you to the time when Kaunda decided to strengthen Zanis. Zanis at the time was publishing news in all the key languages, then disseminating it. Okay? So now we have a situation where we have moved away from that. For many reasons, the population has grown. Maybe it will be expensive to do that, but we must find a way. And the only way I see is we must improve our revenue collection, so that we have got a health budget to finance public requirements. Run a country, not run a country, but we must run a country. In other ways, how can we have issues of, people are saying 6.5 billion as reserves. That's not much for a country. We need to do over 10 billion, hitting 15 billion. And when it comes to maize production, it is not a lie that this is the first time we're hitting 5 million metric tons. But we've been independent for how long? We have massive land. We have more water than any other country in Southern Africa. So there are certain things which we must not blame any other people. We need to have sufficient resources to be able to finance public engagement. I heard arguments, okay, fine, if you expand Parliament, where will the money come from? Really? Is that a question to ask? When Zambia is one of the most powerful, naturally endowed countries in Africa. Ask questions. How much is cobalt selling at London Stock Exchange market? How much copper do we have in the country? What about other minerals we have? Have we put our minds to doing things properly? Or we want leakages to continue? Those are the issues. Those are the governance issues, transparency and accountability. Those are the real issues I dealt with when I was at. So you document events. For instance, look at the provinces. Say to yourself, this province, what can we get from this province as best as we can? Maximize, get the best from that province. Okay? Then you find that your income will be hovering around about maybe 5-10 billion. Yeah. Then now you can talk, okay, fine, now we can talk business. You can't be, celebrating. Look, the CDF was at 1.6 million. Now, if you calculate, that's almost peanuts in dollars.
Yes.
So, and that's what we've been doing to ourselves for over 60 years. Okay? For over 60. Personally, when I see this, I'm very impressed. Very, very, because when I was active, these things were not as, the way I said, I went to another station, long cars, good stuff. I went to Rodsburg, good stuff. So clearly we are moving. And what we want is to be better. And that's the case I've been making, and I am happy. I played a very key role in ensuring that we got transparent voting boxes. We had opaque things, metal. You couldn't see what was in there. We campaigned very, very hard to ensure that we've got transparent boxes. So I'm expecting people to campaign hard on things like who should be our president.
All right, we've got more text messages coming. This one says, good evening, wonderful program there. The closure of our courts is timely, especially that we're dealing a militia grouping that is masquerading as a political party. All right, thank you for that sentiment. Also on YouTube, Dennis Peary says the problem is that educated people are not helpful to a nation. As long as they benefit their bellies, it's okay with them. He further says the life is lost will not say nothing, but just to speak to your benefits, not helping the nation at all. He further says, during elections, we saw UPND cadres attacking poll staff and asking them to stop counting in full view of police. Do UPND cadres have more rights than others? So some of the questions coming in from our social media feeds. If you could quickly answer that, and then some of those, especially the last one, what your sentiment is over that. And then finally, we've witnessed several chapters of Zambia's democratic journey. When security, political interests, and constitutional rights appear to collide, what is the one principle that you believe government, as well as the opposition and civic society, citizens alike, must respect if we are to protect Zambia's democracy?
I think one of the things which I need to take on is this issue of cadres. My brother, we need to take this issue head on. Zambia is not for a particular section of people. Yes, supporters have a role in any formation, but to begin to think that they can take the role of police, for instance, is an impossibility. It will not happen, and if it happened, it's extremely unfortunate. It's extremely unfortunate. The same thing what happened, I couldn't believe it. It happened when Brand declared himself winner. People in town saying, look, now, no, my member is rusty, very rusty, not Wera. You can't. So, again, now there is no telling who they were.
Yes.
Okay, there is no telling. You can't say these people, they are pro-Brand. They could be pro, but they could be masquerading as such. So we don't know who these cadres were. If they are wearing a T-shirt, it doesn't make them UPND. Because anybody can wear a T-shirt of UPND, but not be UPND. Or a T-shirt of PF, but not be PF. So if this did happen, and it's clear it must have happened, this for me is totally unacceptable. Because we're not going to have a situation where a cadre, replaces a poor staff. It can't work. And then there is an issue of when security concerns coincide with democracy, for instance, what takes root? And I am saying we must answer one fundamental question as Zambians. Zambians, what do we want? What do we want to govern us? How do we want us to be governed? so that the security wings, whatever, they will know their role. This is my role. What we must not run away from addressing is, why would anybody, and I'll be happy to get a comment, why would anybody say that for this election, I'm willing to kill or be killed? Is that a normal statement? I mean, I can't ask you that question, but I'm just reflecting. That for me, in other jurisdictions, like in the UK, hate speech is extremely dealt with very severely. Very, very severely. I'm talking about England. Okay? Propaganda has got its rules. And I think propaganda can either build a nation or destroy a nation.
Yes.
So the question is, do we want this country to be destroyed because of hateful words? I see them on social media. I feel sad about that.
Yeah.
Because really, I think we cannot get to a point of being unreasonable. And then obviously the other man talks about he thinks what is happening is proper. Okay, so my view is that there is a group which is saying, which is happy with what is happening. There's a group which is not happy. So we need to narrow the difference and get to a point of agreement. At least there is agreement on one thing. The agreement is that we had results which came out of the ECZ. There is not a single monitor who has disputed the results.
Yes.
There's none I've come across. So there's a beginning point. The beginning point now for me is to address peripheral issues. The peripheral issues, okay, this one said something which was so hard. You just read something which somebody said about me, very, very hard. But those are their views. I am looking at the Zambian bigger picture. That's got nothing to do with those views. The views will come, they will be there. So do we find a way of, okay, fine, how do we deal with this particular issue, because it's an important issue.
Yes.
One important issue, the issue of national unity, is very important. You can't underestimate it. Look, I always say this. If I did not know that you are Mr. Nkata,
yes,
I would simply say that I met a Zambian, he's a good man. Because I would not know, hey, forehead, there's nothing like Nkata, Easterner. There's nothing like that. Just a forehead, just human forehead. So it's something that we have brought to ourselves. As far as I'm concerned, we have a duty, and the duty which we have is to love each other. If I have issues with you, I must deal with, I must say, Nkata, what are your issues? Okay, here I think I made a mistake. And I'm sure you will find a way within yourself to forgive me. But if I'm going to insist that, Nkata, I want to see you, but it's 0-1. So does that make sense? Yeah. It doesn't make sense. So let's try to deal with all these issues. People are talking, they will talk. That happens. People will talk negative things, but let's not injure our country. Let's not injure ourselves. Something nasty or bad happened, I'm sure we've got a task to be dealt with.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just getting some more questions, or rather contributions, from our social media feed here. Somebody here says these vuvuzelas have contributed to the decline of preservation of human rights in Zambia. They talk and defend the mouth that feeds them. The more they talk, the more they expose their biased stance. That's from Tengani on YouTube. Okay. We also have, wow, this one says what? Employment law with Lola. That's also on YouTube. They're saying defending terrorism on itself is an act of terrorism. You can be jailed for that. So those people supporting the act of terrorism in Zambia must be very careful and trade very carefully. All right. Many thanks to everybody that is getting in touch. All right. Do also send us your sentiments on 0573 955 330. But in conclusion, I have to abide by the rules.
Yeah, by the rules.
Yes, we are out of time.
Yes.
But I think with the questions raised today, ultimately, for all of us, I think the homework or takeaway should be, how do we protect national security while safeguarding constitutional freedoms?
Right.
How do we preserve public order while also ensuring that there is still access to justice? And how do we ensure that regardless of who is in power or who is in opposition, our democratic institutions remain strong enough to serve every Zambian? Yes. So quickly, your views on some of the other sentiments that have come in?
I think one of the things which I can only emphasize, which you have said, is we need these strong democratic institutions. We need institutions which can function within the framework of the law.
Yes.
And then also, you mentioned point, and we must emphasize it, access to justice is not negotiable. It's very important that, by the way, if you have a challenge, please, I beg of you, get a good lawyer. Don't get a lawyer who knows that anyway, they will have to pay me. So when you think that I can't even they save you the bill. So you also have a duty to ensure that you get a good lawyer.
Yes.
Some of the names you've heard, I dare say that you need to be cautious. Then the issue of terrorism is quite an issue which we must deal with. The world is fighting terrorism very seriously.
Yes.
The world is up against money laundering. And as things happening in Zambia, no Zambian should be able to associate themselves with the evils of terrorism or the scourge of money laundering, because that's a dent, and a huge dent. Now, what that tells you is that all of us, we must now begin talking about the need to legislate our political parties.
All right.
Very important.
We thank you so much, Mr. Ngande Mwanajiti, for your insights, and thank you for joining us. Thank you, the viewers at home, for your participation. This is the People's Square, and as always, we encourage you to stay informed, ask the questions, seek the facts, and let the law and democratic institutions guide the conversation. My name is Temwani Nkata. Until the next time, have a good evening, and please keep watching BMTV. Good night.
In a nation searching for answers, every household has a story, and every story is shaped by the politics of our time. Your struggles, your hopes, your future. We bring you the voices of the people and the leaders who must respond. Because a stronger democracy starts with informed citizens. This is where Zambia comes together to talk, to question, and to push for better. Your voice, your power, your Zambia. The Political Square. Only on BMTV. Zambia's light, Zambia's voice.
New vibes with BMTV. Get ready, Zambia, because BMTV is about to bring you the hits with local stories, drama, comedy, and news that is all about you. Local vibes only. Catch stories from Lusaka to Livingston, towns to villages, Zambia's stories told by Zambians. Drama and entertainment, from townships to trending shows, we have the best local content. News that you care about, local news, national pride, and what's happening in your hood. Your stories, our spotlight. We feature you, your talents, and your passions. Tune in now and let's vibe, Zambia. BMTV, Zambia's light, Zambia's voice.
Hi, Mwizukani here. I am a proud Zambian woman celebrating the heritage of Mother Zambia. We've always shared our land with elephants and other wild animals. But human-wildlife conflict intensifies as our population keeps growing and the elephant habitat is shrinking. For people and animals to coexist, we must secure spaces and create corridors to give animals room to roam. By protecting these wild spaces, we can coexist with elephants. Because together, we can do better.